Yeah, so I rocked this for the Jack's Jazz thing, and frankly, I like it. I think I'm gonna go with this for a little bit. And because I'm 90s, I'll rock the same shit every time. It's like a trademark. It'll be like my Frank Lucas fur coat. Makes me feel good in my spirit. Where are we at? 2 more minutes on the clock. This is good though. I like it. I feel very militant.
You look
Uh,
good.
well, thank you. And I'm seeing somebody. I'm seeing
Ooh.
somebody. Huh?
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. It's difficult to be this tantalizing with a beard so rich like black sponge cake, and then it's like, oh, none for you. I'm teasing a little bit, and that's not fair. I admit that freely. Let me just drop that down a touch. Scooch the camera. I got the Wu Tang clock in the shot now. See that? Dragon 8, seriously, do you like what I've done with the place? Because I think I make it look nice. I got a rifle back there just in case anyone gets froggy or fresh with me.
I do like.
Yeah, it makes me feel good. There's also some G.I. Joe propaganda. The only thing is, you can't see the recording sign. But
Damn it.
yeah,
Do it
yeah.
higher.
Well, the rifle butt is covering it,
Oh,
and it's
okay.
like you gotta make some concessions in life.
Here in Canada, I can't have guns, so yeah, Canada, yeah.
Is that what they call that piece that almost touches Russia? Because I'm not really that hip on world
Well,
geographies.
see, we're not quite well, we're not geographically located there, but we're
Mm,
almost basically the same.
okay.
So anyway, we
So,
we can't have
question: Is
guns
that
here,
better?
huh?
What I just did is that better?
Yes, I like.
It is.
I do like. The lighting looks
Okay,
good.
nice. There we are. We're getting the mood lighting set here. We got our good friend from Son Sounds coming soon, and it's going to be a nice show. Let's just make sure we get all them in. I see Flu is here, which is great, and we're going to give it a couple minutes. But obviously this is just pre-class chatterings. Good to see everybody. Most importantly, good news. There's a little bit of stagnations, but there's also good news. There's a funny thing to read. I decided I'm going to start reading random blogs once an episode. You know why? I finally figured out what the fuck to do with these blogs, and it's going to be great. Also, I figured out how to get the sound good. The sound's good for the record, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured out how to get the sound good for public school so I could stand back and do my proper hand gesturings without having to worry about, I don't want to, you know, who wants to be all, with the hands? See, I don't want to do all that. I want to be free to fucking do some of this shit. This is good. Um, I don't have my mug, which is good. It's an abnormally big mug to drink out of in front of company, but I do
Well,
want to
that's how
drink out
you
of.
have to assert your dominance somehow.
Yeah, that's what. And I got a pirate sword over there. I can always just brandish that and wave it around. And I got the rifle. The rifle's right here. Good
I
old
have an
HMR.
elvish sword.
Hmm?
I have an elvish sword.
Oh, pirate beats elf every time.
No.
Pirate beats elf every time. This is a fact. You
Nah.
know what? We're gonna start this conversation the right way. Dragonade, please ring the bell. Let's get this goddamn school started because this is some stuff that we have to talk about. I did not know you were a man possessing these terrible beliefs.
Ha.
Oh, what if I pull a short king? What if I pull a short king, right? A little step stool? Yeah. That's that's awesome. Now the background looks fake. Yeah, welcome back to public school. This is a great episode. We have illustrious guests. We're gonna go on with that in a second. So you really think that elf beats pirate?
Listen, elves have magic and they're immortal, okay?
Okay. All right. And
So obviously they beat anything.
no, 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 no. Here's why elves don't beat pirate. A pirate has the looming threat of sodomy.
What?
That's what I'm. Listen, I'm going somewhere here. An elf is immortal, like you said. They fight for what? Nothing, because they don't believe in anything. They want to just eat fucking figs and drink elderberry wine and get real good at archery. And for some reason, they're all white. Pirates come in a multitude of shapes and colors, right? They are truly the Benetton of the sea, right? The fact that they will forcibly sodomania anything, right, is an added bonus. Also, they suck lemons to stave off scurvy. So these are men who would gladly murder your entire village for something besides a lemon to eat. They're common sense Vikings. Burning your boat is ridiculous. I know it's like a nice metaphor for sales assholes, but burning your boat is stupid, especially if it's a nice boat. Why would I burn the boat? I can park the boat. My will to win is driven by the fact that I don't want to eat another lemon for like 9 months. And they have delicious fruits and probably some sort of lamb stew, I imagine, or some sort of a shank situation. Because they're elves. I'm sure their cooks are like ridiculously good. And let's be clear, I'm not one to discriminate against the bunnies of snow. They got some bad bitches. So you're fresh off a boat, nothing but man ass, and now there's just delicious, immortal women with their very pasty Babylons out for the showing, because elves dress very slutty. Every day is Halloween in the village for them. And then you just got a sword. Yeah, they're going to shoot 90 arrows at you in 14 seconds. So what? Ting, 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 ting. Block them shits. Run up, get done up. And I think Pirates for the win. Also, because they are multicultural, you are doing a racism by betting against them. Boom.
And elves are also very good at archery, just so you know. So
That's what I'm saying. The elves are very good at archery, but your goodness at archery and you're drinking a. Instead of confusing Pirates for Jedi, you know what? I've done that before, and I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed to say that I've confused Pirates for Jedi many times, and I will probably do it again. Anyway, moving on. Before we get to our illustrious guest, I'm going to drop a wonderful tweet into the. Hold on, let's see here. I'm going to drop a wonderful tweet, which I will read to you into the chat. Boom. There we go. That's for you guys. And what that tweet says is, and you can see the picture, it says, it's sad and no one likes to talk about it, but probably due to being a painful memory for your fam ram, whatever. But statistically, some of your grandfathers got beat up by the Isley brothers while they were dressed like this. And I say that with mathematical certainty. That's why he was mean to you and sat in that chair all day watching Westerns. He got stomped out with suede go-go fucking boots by a nigga dressed like General Zod's heroin dealer. It happened. Your GMA saw it. It's your legacy. Own it. Own it the way Guyanese and Jamaican people own the fact that we all have secret families. Do you think he really just liked watching High Plains Drifter? He's trying to recapture an endless series of what if I did this moments. Son loves Charles Bronson and people who don't take no shit because Mr. Big told your gram her butt looked juicy and he acted like he was with the shits. And there's few things more humiliating than sputtering out, I'm cool, multiple times to assure the man in the cowboy hat with a bare chest and the silken neckerchief that he can relieve the pressure from the 38 special jammed in your throat while your girl gives his friend her phone number. Yeah. So, yeah, that's a fun little thought that some of your granddads got beat up by the Isley brothers. I think that's awesome, and I wanted to share that with you. How do we get Flu? So, Flu, Funkin', I think you raise your hands or whatever, and then Dragonate will assemble you up here, because I do not have the powers to my... Just so you guys are clear, as confidently as I speak, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, it's been proven. There's times when Dragonate was either late or just not here, and we couldn't do the show. We were just like, I don't know how to start this thing. I don't know how to ring the bell. I don't know how to open the room. It's all just sorcery. But we got the guys from
one
Sound
time I wasn't here.
Oh my God, why is it so echoey? What happened?
Because of me. There was probably one time I wasn't here. Late.
Yeah.
But only
And that one time we stopped. We did not do a show. You are an integral part of this program. As the chat is the co-host, Dragonate steers the ship. The pirate ship, which defeats all the elves. Dragonate. Accept it or you don't steer the ship. Which one is it?
Can I be an elf pirate?
Elf
Uh,
pirates are an underrated, like an underrated archetype. I will say that, and also lot of lore behind elfish pirates as well. Considering in most of like the classical Tolkien-esque fantasies, they do have to cross a sea in order to get to whatever mainland they're at for the bulk of the adventure. So like most of them probably started faring out like seafaring to begin with. So I would consider most elves to be pirates if you really think about it.
elf.
Okay.
See, here's the problem with elf pirate. I feel like you're double dipping. This is like a drug dealing Dracula. I feel like you're doing all kinds of. I like it. I love a good.
No, I
bad-
would Dracula though.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
for
Why
one
wouldn't
thing.
you?
I want to suck your blood and smoke your crack. You know, like it
Not a
just it
drug
makes
using Dracula, sir.
Oh shit!
Drug dealing Dracula, which
No,
means I have 2 for the 5. They've got garbage down the way.
no, I'm out.
Hey, don't sleep on goblins. And I love tech. That's all from me.
Wow, that was really that's all he had to say.
You know
All
what?
right.
By opening the door to Elvish Pirate, I do get Goblin by default. I will allow it. All right, thank you, Dragonate. We have settled that matter. I'm gonna drop some links in the chat here because I think those links are important. Links to some websites, links to some stuff. Flu, how are you doing?
I'm great, man. How about you?
Just another day in Shangri-La. I got a whole new show outfit. I'm all dolled up like the first day of school. I'm not gonna lie, feel a little corny, but the fact that I put on sunglasses at nighttime indoors for this program just shows my dedication. So
The fact
this
that
is
you put
public
on
school.
clothes for this conversation makes it infinitely better than the space that you were on last night.
Yeah, 98% of the time I talk on Twitter Spaces, I am naked, or at least Winnie the Pooh in it, which is
Yeah.
a shirt but no pants or underwears. With my schwams out. Just for the record, he made a very great statement, and I want to introduce you to the chat the proper way. Flu said if you post dicks while we're talking and they are less than 8 inches, he will shame you. I think that is an aggressive approach. I'm here for it. Chat, please welcome Fludicrous from Son Sound, and of course we got some Son Sound peeps in the audience here. Watch the chat. There we go. That's a nice girthy length. That's a shorty. That's a shorty, Triz. That's a shorty. Little mushroom cap. There we go,
That's
Graf.
from,
Thank you.
Is that from the Chin Pokies Discord?
I don't know what that's from. That's horrible.
Anyway, all right. So, yes,
That's
I'm
terrible.
from Son. I'll give like a brief recap of the project for
Please.
those of you who do not know. Son, we are an audio hardware manufacturer, i.e., like headphones. And so these are those. You pull them out. They've got magnetic clasps, and that's what they are. The design for the hardware was done by the same dude who did all of the PFP art for Oni Force. We've got a bunch of other people on the team that are from other projects. All the electronics in it were done and put together by the dude who was the founding engineer of Beats by Dre. He ended up selling himself really to Apple and went on to be the director of headphone development at Monster for 12 years. Really talented people. I myself am from some DGen stuff, so I deal with tokenomics and making sure that number go up. And then my co-founder Devin Marty has written a couple books on decentralized organizations, and I usually keep those books. Actually, here's one. I keep those books handy just to be like a Vanna White sort of thing to make sure that people know that he's a real author because his name is on paper and not just a white paper somewhere. Which, side note, Kane, do you not find the term white paper to be vaguely racist?
No. But also, I'm from the 90s, so I'm old. And I watched Blazing Saddles. So
Yeah, true.
It's
True.
not like they said it's a white paper. I'm sorry, Kane, you can't have one. That'd be very different.
Yeah.
It's a very different kind of paper. If someone orders vanilla ice cream, I am not overwhelmed by the urge to protest. Um, I'm also from Eastern Long Island, where like racism, I like my racists way out. Subtle racism does nothing for me. Like if someone's like, "Hey Kane, we got some watermelon flavored sherbet. Would you like some?" Yes, nigga,
Okay,
I
but
would. I
like
would love some sherbet.
objectively speaking, that sounds delicious.
Yeah, because who
But
doesn't want good sherbet? But it
I
was like,
think
hey,
it makes
get off
sense.
my property with your black skin. That's a racism. If you do a racism, you got to stick the landing for your racisms for them to take effect for me. But I have met the blackity blacks, the leather brimless hat squad in Web3, and they get very. It's called what do they call it? A gray paper or a something? There's no white lists. And I was like, why you can't say whitelist? They're like, Kane, you cannot say whitelist. Also, I say mad shit that I can't say apparently, like Indian dirt. I didn't know Indian dirt was a disparaging. I realize it now when I say it because I grew up in a racist place. So like when you dig through the soil and you get to the red, I guess people call it clay, which is stupid because it doesn't come from Toys R Us. That's called clay to most normal people. My entire childhood, everyone I knew called that Indian dirt.
Yeah. Dude,
And I did not know.
Yeah. I have a story like that, but it's way worse because I didn't realize the origins behind some other shit. But I grew up in like Southern Baptist, Texas, so like it was just some.
What part?
Oh, I live here in Fort Worth, Texas. I grew up over there in East Dallas, though.
My girl is from the exact same place.
East Dallas?
Yeah, she's from somewhere the fuck over there. She knows
Oh.
all the words to "Let me see it."
Yeah. And
No,
Oak
I'm
Cliff,
serious.
and
Yeah,
Oak Cliff,
she-
that's my hood. Yeah.
She knows all the words to all those UGK songs that are disgusting. And I found that out when she was already with my child. And we were driving to my brother's house for a family function. And she's like, let me see it. With the hairy stripper asshole. I said, motherfucker, you are a mother. You should not talk that way. But speaking of which, and I meant this on the flyer. And I'm happy that you're here because it's rare that I get a chance to do some of this type of shit. It's a big town, but it's a small town. The Web3, crypto, NFTs, all this whole umbrella. It's a big town, but it's a small town. I.e., if someone came up to me a week ago and said, "Hey, Ken, you ever heard of Sound? Yeah, I know them. They good. Yeah, good money. Okay, because that's the way reputation works.
Mhm.
Everything is small. It's, hey, you know them? Nah, I never heard of them. Well, they said they're the biggest thing. Well, they could be. I just never heard of them. Maybe they're in some small fucking community somewhere that's super huge in China and we don't know them, because shit like that exists. But we're like, no, man, they're like, okay, well, check the mutuals. None. Well, that's kind of fucking weird. I don't know everybody, but we at least got to know somebody. And the fact that it's a small town but a big town, I've seen you guys before. I've been in your spaces. Lindsay with the motherfucking E, who is much beloved here in the Token Smart community. Natalie Crew, who is much beloved in the Token Smart community. Two of my very best friends, some of the first people I met in space. Lindsay said, you gotta come over here. And I went, I kind of didn't understand. And it seemed, to be honest,
Hey.
it seemed like this was something that got away from me.
Bro, to be honest, bro, we made it so fucking complicated and complex. That was one of our biggest mistakes. Is like we kept everything above board. But we made it fun for the people who wanted to come in, fuck around a lot, find out a lot. Like they had fun. They collected, they traded, they bought the rares, they were excited for the drops, everything like that, and that was great. But like, did it take off in some massive way? No, absolutely
Well, I want
not.
to let you off the hook for that. I want to let you off the hook for that for a special reason. I don't think that what you did was too complicated. I think what you did was too complicated for the audience you're going after. For this audience here, what you did was right down the middle of the strike zone. It was perfect. When I say I didn't understand it, I didn't get it at first, but I listened after a couple times coming through. And that's what it takes in crypto generally, 1-2 touches. the thing about it was it felt like something that I'd already missed. It felt like something that had already gotten away from me. It's like, oh man, here's all these people. They're already on this boat. Everyone already has a uniform. I'm late to game day. They're already 4 seasons in. Maybe next year. Maybe I can try again when they got something else going on. And that's the way it felt because your community is actually they're pretty, I mean, supportive is a shitty word that people throw around like a participation trophy. Your community is actively engaged.
Yeah, they're passionate. Like you were saying
Very passionate.
on the flyer, they're passionate. Yeah.
And you're passionate.
I,
You're
I'm
very
I'm
passionate.
I'm so passionate that I have made some of our not so passionate casual observers abandon ship.
Good.
And like I've not missed them not a day, not once.
I wanted to introduce you to some of the people that I'm passionate about because of your passion. This is less. I'm super. There's no bullshit here. I was more interested in talking to you. The headphone thing was like, oh, cool, and we can talk about that too because I heard there's cool contract shit, and I personally am a fan of cool contract shit, and I do genuinely love the tech. I love tech. I didn't know I love tech. I watch like CES shit on YouTube, but that doesn't count as like loving tech. I can't afford most of it, and it takes me 3 days to set up a printer. But I like knowing about it, and I've seen every episode of Stargate. I do love crypto shit though. I love contracts. I love smart contracts. I love things that are built fun. I love tokenomics. I love ill deployments. I love all the who's it's and what's it's of here. And somehow I do good here as far as comprehending and implementing. How did Son Sound start? How did you get involved with it? How did you guys spin together this tight knit group of people who are so passionate?
So Sound actually started about 3 years ago, which was technically before Oni Force really got off the ground and got going. So the artist that did the Oni Force, the artist that did the comic for Oni Force, and the DJ that did a lot of the Oni Force original like get-togethers and shows and stuff like that, they got together with David Lung, who was the X Beats guy that I told you about earlier, and basically David Lung was like, I've made audio hardware for Diddy and Gaga and Dre. Now I want to see what it would be like to make audio hardware for like everyone, every artist that you can. I want it to be customizable, and then Kaku and Crow and Brian were like, well, we want it to be cool. We want it to be badass. We're tired of every fucking headphone only having the colors black and gray and white. And like, let's have something that you can personalize. Let's have something that you can pick up some sneakers and be like, you know what I want to do is I want to match my fit in my ear to my fit on my foot for that day. And so like having more of like a sneaker drop culture and fashion, like fashion focused culture, dude, we've already done 8 different colors, and we've only been shipping product for like a year, and that's for that reason. That's to be able to be like, okay, well, you want to take like the left unit from this color and the right unit from this color, and then put them on the centerpiece that's a different color from either one of them, because you like that and you got a combo outfit that you're wearing where you want to flex the red, white, and blue that day. Okay, awesome. Let's fucking do that. And so that's what it's all about, is that customizability of like what you have in your ears, like what are you doing, but also like really, really high quality. And so we started about 3 years ago. I first got involved because I put in some of the seed round money, and I was still working for a very large project at that time. And then a few months later, they got rid of their more useless business development person and brought me on full time, and I've been there ever since. So I've been here for over 2 years now. I'm considered one of the co-founders, and I love the project. I love the project, and it's easily the most like personal to me thing that I'm doing in crypto today. And that's because of what I just said, is like really being able to bring this to not just really big and important and self-important artists, but to like any artist that wants their brand on something really cool and for them and personal to their fans. And I think that that's something that very, very few companies are ever going to offer, and I'm proud to be one of those that will.
I think there's something also that I didn't know, and I've seen. I mean, I've seen. Again, it's difficult to be here in this town because we're all connected. There's not tons of space between us. It's I know someone who knows you. Like it's not even. It's 1 degree, if anything, of separation. So I've seen the headphones. They'll show up on your timeline periodically. I think every time you guys have a drop, I've seen the headphones, and I'll go, "Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. Damn, that's cool. That one's nice. I like that one." And the whole time I thought it looked like an Autobot head or a Decepticon head. And then yesterday you tell me it's the needle of a vinyl record, which I fucking love vinyl records. I love I that's all vinyl. There's all my vinyl over there. This whole room you can't see it, but it's full of vinyl. I personally didn't know that. What gave you guys the idea of going with that? Are you vinyl listeners? And is there some sort of a vinyl drop coming?
It was initially going to be one of our first drops
Oh shit!
of
Okay.
vinyl. Yeah, and so, but like just we had to switch it up because as I stated before, the response was not as heavy as we anticipated to like the paid soul binding. It just wasn't as successful as we thought it was going to be. We expected like a 10 to 30% response on the at least minimum, like the level 1 soul binding, and we did not even hit close to that, right? And so with that money, we would have just done like everyone who had even minted and was still holding, we were going to ship them a vinyl record, right?
What year was this? What was this? 21?
22. Because
So
we
you
only
guys, this
minted.
dropped right around the time the market turned bear, apparently.
Yeah, we were actually the second contract deployed on the post merge mainnet. For
Fuck.
We barely missed it.
Fuck. Fuck. Okay. It's
And
difficult.
we were a free mint, by the way. We were a free mint. We do
Really?
everything. Yeah, we do everything for the culture. So we were a free mint, and then people who have minted the avatar and the most recent like the faction editions, most of those people did not pay for those. What they did was they burned NFTs over on ETH for those, and then we've got some stuff planned for those people that's going to return value to them even further. I just can't talk about it yet. But I will say that it's related to a recent announcement that another company did with us. So anyone with a brain can figure that one out if they spend 2 minutes checking into it. But it's just it's all for the culture, right? And so we never want to be the group that's like continuously doing mints. We never want to be the group that's continuously trying to take money out of the environment. We will fund it ourselves before we allow that shit to happen, right? And so we got some really strong supporters. We got people like Funkin' Kyle, who gifted your pair, and Koa and some others that like they have given us the bare minimum for us to just continue cooking and continue doing things. So yes, in the future we're going to be doing some vinyl drops. Yes, it's a needle on a record, but also it's so like there's so many other ways that you can interpret it. Like san in Mandarin and Japanese means 3. Triangle, a lot of triangular sort of like themes going on here. You got the blockchain trilemma, you got the Holy Trinity, you got there's so many things coming in 3s. It's a very powerful number, right? And so it's something that is going to be repeated on our branding. We're like, we have a bunch of things around 3s. We got 3s in the chat. We have the 33, which is like our whale club. We got all sorts of other shit along the 3s. But yeah, as far as the vinyls, I'm a big fan of vinyl. I have a bunch. Some of mine I actually got from my uncle, and they actually belonged to my mother before him. And so I've got some really cool stuff. And I've also got a bunch of vinyl that I've never even touched just because it's been up in storage for so long. So
it's hard to see from here, but down there in the corner, that brown thing or that thing is sitting on behind that vinyl record is a World War II ammo box. And in that ammo box is a bunch of like these hard slate shits from the 40s and 50s. I think they're for like a Victrola or like a jukebox because I got to hand spin them because whatever I got ain't. It's not a 45. It's not a normal size vinyl, so it's a weird size and it's hard like a plate. If I drop one, they shatter. I've broken 3 of them already, but I got a bunch of them. I'd love to sit down and talk vinyl with you. Another thing that I heard, and I heard about the thing you said previously, which goes to the other thing I wanted to cover, where people talk about the exception to the rule. I prefer the example to the rhetoric. My example to the rhetoric is I do not personally like fiat payments and custodial wallets when they are riding in the same car. I have no problem with fiat payments. I have no problem with custodial wallets. I have no problem with free mints. My issue with free mints is it was typically driven by the opposite of you. A free mint was typically driven by people who were selling fluffy ferrets and squishy squid on Solana. They got tired of promising the video game that's never gonna come. They got tired of promising the Lambo you're never gonna get, or the added utility that's never going to arrive. So they just turned the shit into Amway, gave it to as many people, and then baptized you into their marketing department. They never did any of the additional work to follow up on it. You guys did a free mint and then did a fucking dump truck of additional work to follow up on it, which I don't see more than a handful of people doing, and I pay attention to a lot of shit. And none of them are still around. If I'm guessing, you're the only ones that are still around. I haven't checked recently, but I don't think most of them are still here anymore.
Yeah, there are very, very few free mints that have stood the test of time, but I don't regret going down that road because like I like to be able to have that as a claim because it's always a surprising thing because of the lack of staying power for most free mints. And so I just consider it another feather in the cap, so to speak.
You're there. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Was there a music player or something? There was like a music.
So we
something.
have a music discovery app that's being built. We already do have an app that is live in both app stores, and if I can find the shit, there you go. And so we actually have an app in the iOS store and the Android store. And currently with it, it's focused around controlling the device, so you can change the lighting on it, you can change the EQ, so you can personalize that, and then you can also change the gesture control.
Nice.
But in the future, that will also be used to incentivize people to listen to music everywhere. So not just in our app, not just stuff that we've hosted, not just stuff that friends of ours are hosted, but like more so discovering new artists, maybe taking a look at a specific playlist that we have a lot of our friends like on, maybe a lot of the people that are already Kyle is asking to be let up on stage.
Yeah, I see. I just messaged Dragon 8. I don't know how
I think you can right click him and then add to stage.
Oh, there we go. Look at that. Hey, look at this shit. Yeah,
Hey,
look
finish
who
your
look who
thought, please.
likes tech. Look who likes
Ooh, I
tech.
love tech. I just wanted to step in real quick.
Hmm?
It goes beyond Son for me. And disclaimer, I'm a big holder of Son. There are many reasons for this. One, the tech. I actually do love the tech. But two, the fucking team for me. All Flu does is grind. He grinds. He brings value. I have very little projects where I could say, oh, I got some value. I've got so much value out of this that it's actually unbelievable. And so I just want to step up and scope out for a second that it's not just Son, it's also Flu, it's Devin, it's Kaku, it's Pro Magnus. These guys understand Web3, and I can't see that in a lot of places. Like most projects are very Web2, and they're ready to just take your money. They're gonna take it out. They're gonna put it in their bank account. They're gonna buy a house. These guys don't do that. And so I just wanted to get up and just say that and throw my props to Flu. It's not just Son for me, it's the team.
Cool.
That's true because I already bought my house and ordered my Lamborghini during 2021 whenever I was working for DeFi Kingdoms, so I don't need money from that side of things. Thank you very much for pointing that out, Kyle. Yeah, and
So,
also we
so
have Abel Okugawa is in the chat. Abel Okugawa is a talented musician. He actually helped us build some of our most important audio tracks that we use for showing off the Sonware. So thank you very much for Abel and Abel for coming. And clearly, Kane, as I mentioned to you last night, everyone should go check out Abel Okugawa's music NFTs because he's fucking based just as a person.
oh yeah, where the hell is he? Is he?
He's down there. He's rocking an Oni frame right now. Which reminds me, I need to go mint my new Oni's frame, Abel. He
Oh,
just
there he
raised
is.
his hand as
Okay,
well.
there
Yeah.
we go. Boom. Look at this, right clicking. I'm fucking doing all kinds of shit today. Abel, good to see you, sir. I don't know if he's up here, but I certainly
That's all
right-clicked upon him.
I
But
think
yeah.
that he probably didn't accept the request. Yeah, no. I think that we've done really well for what we've had, the resources that we've had, and we're about to switch over into a more easy to understand and lower cost of entry sort of mode. And so the people who are wanting to get in here as DJs, honestly, go buy the music notes, go mint the avatar because you get the avatar and the IM. You can pick your color, you can do all that. It'll be 0.3, it's not cheap. But it's also like we're going to have premium stuff for the people who actually pay to get into the ecosystem. Um, it is what it is. I've always tried to return value to the people who've actually contributed to the ecosystem, and I think that Kyle coming up here, thank you, Kyle, for those words. But you don't need to suck up. I already have your money. And yeah, no, it is exactly what it is because like pretty soon we're gonna have a little bit lower cost of entry for the IEMs. We're gonna focus on just getting the IEMs in people's hands so that they can experience it. So they can get
Well,
put
you
in
said-
ears.
Sorry, you said something earlier, and I want to make sure we touch on it because I think it's important. The difference between what you're about to do and what you historically have done. You said the original iteration was complicated. What
Complicated.
was it, and what was the reaction?
So initially, what we did was we did the free mint, and then we had in the original contract we had the ability for people to soul bind. Oh, there's Abel.
I got him. Go ahead.
Abel, you there? Oh, there he is. He muted.
Yeah, I am. I'm just tapping in because you guys are so cool. But I'm at a family thing, so I can't really chat. But I just wanted to say there's mad love in here, and it's all about the music. And this is the real deal. I'm so glad that Kane, you dropped into the space yesterday, and you saw everything, and you've been listening. And this is I feel like this is the right thing. So just wanted to say what's up.
I'm here for it, sir.
So what we did was
Wait.
Oh,
I
go
don't
ahead.
think what you guys did was too complicated. I think it worked really well for where the market was and what you provided and the value that you've so far given. And so to me, it was success, right? And we're still here today. We're in this dope Discord in a public school, chatting with Kane, who's dope, by the way, super smart, I can tell. So to me, so far, everything has been successful. And that's my input there.
I think that I'm glad that it happened this way for a few reasons, not the least of which is that it allowed us to parse out who was here on the team to build versus others, and it also helped us to parse out community members. So it's allowed us to build out one of the strongest communities within Web3, bar none. And so what we did though initially, just to answer your question, Kane, is we did the free mint and then we allowed people to soul bind or lock to their wallets to make these assets no longer transferable and therefore no longer speculative. And so that was a paid service. You got to choose your level of involvement. and we started that out like 0.25 or 0.2 ETH for like the basic level of soul binding, and then it went up to like 0.6 or and then 0.9, and then the top level, the 33, has always been the same price. It's been 5 ETH, and that's like the whale. You want one of everything that we make. You want all the merch that we ever make. You want everything that we ever do, right? You want lifetime subscriptions for a bunch of people, and so on and so forth. And so we tried to play that whole game into there, but we really did. We made it very, very complex. We made a system called Brilliance that was basically like, okay, well, if you have, and I think it had like 40 different traits in it about like, oh, well, these are these specific benefits that you'll get for soul binding these specific things. And it led to, because we have like 103 different characters in that collection, the original collection. And so it led to very, very, very interesting levels of like floor prices between them, and just variance. And you couldn't get a tiger for less than an ETH. You couldn't get a tiger for less than 2 ETH. And just these wild different sort of like levels of loyalty to these JPEGs and the traits within them and everything. And so it was a lot of fun, and it was a lot of way to it was a lot of fun to do things this way. But it did lead to a little bit of decision paralysis for some people, and it also led to a lot of, oh, well, you guys seem overpriced. And that did consist, I'm sorry, the people did consistently, the people who said that did consistently say that right up until the time that they got the first test units, and then no one ever said it again. And
I noticed
I think
that. So for 5 ETH, you said?
well,
the whale?
yeah, for the whale, it's 5 ETH.
So you're saying back in June, for $4,900, I could have, from then on, gotten everything you guys have made.
Yep.
Yep.
Seems kind of silly now not doing it, doesn't it?
And I mean, like that part is still open, but like I'm talking about like not only just the stuff that we've done so far, the stuff that we will do, limited collab drops, which we just signed like 2 of them today, one with a very well-known Web3 company, and one with a very integral to all operations within Web3 company. So doing special units for them that are like branded for them. And they're gonna be so limited in terms of like their distribution side, like less than 10 units of each one of those. And then we're also gonna give one of each of those units to each of the 33 members that exist.
Nice.
And so like kind of taking that sort of thing of like the sneakerhead culture and just making sure that you get every rare and exclusive drop is really a big focus for that side of things. But even then, without that, just with the regular soul binding levels, or just being involved in the project and just hanging out and purchasing the NFTs and just collecting them and doing like, we have all sorts of shit. We have the custom traits that we've done. I think Abel's done one for NFT Record Shop that was last night, and then Kyle has done one which I think he turned around and built an entire business off of. No, I don't think you did your collab trait. You did a 1-of-1. We've done a bunch of unique drops. We did a GM series, just a bunch of different ways that Cro-Magnon sketched out different situations where people were just saying GM, or there was an alligator in a pond and it was saying GM, or it was a frog and it was saying GM, had headphones on, it was like fucking jamming out. And like all those were done on Optimism, but we've probably minted, I was looking the other day, we've probably minted like 13,000 NFTs in addition to our standard collection, just across different networks, because like we're just trying to keep people engaged, give them stuff for free. And then this mint that's going on right now for 0.3 is really one of the first paid things that we've done. So it's been a fucking whirlwind. And yeah, man, we're about to switch that into a whole different realm though, and we're gonna go different.
Whenever there's stuff like soul-bound tokens, and I want to get into the contracts and stuff in a second, but whenever we do things like soul-bound tokens, the first thing my brain defaults to is, okay, Freddie Macaroni from Connecticut, new to the space, doesn't know too much, saw the headphones because he's friends with a guy who's friends with a guy who knows Abel, saw it, like the music, that led him to your space. He bought in, he has headphones, he's happy as a fucking clam, he gets soul-binded, but he's a fervent link clicker. His wallet gets compromised. what happens to him?
Well, that was part of the reason behind doing what we did with soul binding, is because even if you lose access to your wallet, you can still choose to sign transactions going forward. And so theoretically, and this is something that I kind of came up with a little bit, is that like you can have sort of a dual, like a two-factor authentication, but completely on chain. And you could actually prove that you were the one signing with your old wallet, even if it is hacked, and then you could actually transfer, like as a proxy, those permissions to a new wallet that you actually had control of, so on and so forth. We have not implemented this system just because of the complexity of it, but it is very much possible, and it's something that we plan to do. And so even, and not only that, but like whenever you have things that we're going to be distributing to soulbound wallets, uh, we can drop it, and because of how most of these drainers work, odds are the person's not going to know, like the hacker's not going to know, the exploiter is not going to know. So I consider it to be a pretty good safety feature, because like just like they can't drain that because it's soulbound, they you can't, they can't remove that benefit from that wallet, so it's always going to have it. We just have to be very careful and precise in how we deliver that value going forward. But because
Well,
of
so
the limited amount
yeah,
of people that actually did it, we only had like 200 unique wallets that participated, so we know pretty much everyone who is soulbound.
I want to take a moment just to illustration something for Trizlet, who's again the fearless leader of Token Smart, one of my favorite peeps. By the way, shouts to Trizlet. Um, so we talk about this often, and I know you're listening. That was exactly what I'm talking about. The questions that we ask on public school have a reputation of being aggressive or negative or FUD. When you answer the question like that, like you just and again, this whole thing is because I've been loosely paying attention to this guy and these guys, mostly this guy. He knows the answers to the fucking questions. These are questions you should know the answer to. He knows the answer to the question, and when he answers them, it seems like I gave him a soft soap. I didn't give him a soft soap. I asked him a hard fucking question, but he knows the fucking answer to it. If everyone just knew the answers to the questions, this would all be so much easier. The problem is there's people who do things like soulbound tokens. They don't understand what the fuck they're doing. And when I ask them, hey, what happens if someone gets hacked? Oh, well, those people should be more careful. Not a fucking answer. Not an answer. Hey, you did a free mint. Normally, fucking scam jammers on Solana do that. You guys did it but kept your promises. How'd you do that? Well, okay, we spent a bunch of our own money. Wasn't fun, but we had to do it. We'll do it again because we're happy for the result we got. I have no notes. And I knew that this would be one of these kind of talks. Frankly, I like these kind of talks because it makes me feel like this is a happy show when sometimes it's a shootout. So yay. Another question that I've been I didn't want to ask yesterday. I wanted to wait till today. Because I wanted to ask kind of live and Funkin and Abel, if you're able to talk, it'd be great, or anyone else from the team who's here, please feel free to raise your hand. You guys are what I call music, you're music involved while simultaneously being music adjacent. So the trajectory of music in NFTs and music in Web3, I would say, doesn't directly sink or float your battleship, but I'm sure it helps. When music NFTs are doing good, that's obviously a conversation you can participate in. And if music NFTs aren't doing so good, because you're not selling just music, you're not directly, it doesn't kill you. What are your thoughts on where music in the space is? Obviously, it's been a bunch of to do with a bunch of ghosts saying stupid shit on Twitter for the last couple weeks and everyone reacting to it being engagement farmed. But what are your thoughts on where the music NFT space is? Better, worse? How could it be doing according to you guys?
Kyle, you're gonna have to go because Abel cannot speak right now. Also, Abel is 100%, his career is all music. He has credits in Netflix and a bunch of other stuff for like soundtracks and whatnot. He also uses music NFTs as a primary revenue driver for his business. Kyle, go ahead.
feel like for me personally, it seems like we're really early to the music scene in the NFT space. And I say that just because nobody talks about it besides us passionate people. But I do think that there's massive potential when you get down and dirty with it and what you can do with the NFTs and super fans and how Song can work with artists to lift themselves without literally taking their entire brand and profiting. So for me, it's early, right? And I feel like you could say that for the entire crypto space. A lot of it's top down. It doesn't make sense. We took Web 2, we put it in Web 3 and said it's Web 3, but it's not, right?
I don't agree with any of the current marketplaces interpretations of music NFTs personally, because like I feel like mostly we're opening ourselves up to the same sort of thing where it's just like open to OTC deals and there's no true method of like distribution for them. There's no universal music player. There's no Winamp for music NFTs, you know? And like even Winamp isn't the Winamp of music NFTs. I contacted Winamp a good 8 months ago and talked
Yeah.
to them about their plans, and I'm not happy with the way that it is. And so I think that I think that there's a lot to be said for rewarding behavior as opposed to rewarding purchasing a speculative asset that's not even really speculative. No one expects to get their money back ever on a music NFT within this meta, and therefore the market limits itself prohibitively into this tiny little niche. And then you have things like, and I did a drop with Gala. San did a drop with Gala. I love the people at Gala. I love Gala. But the way that Gala is doing music NFTs and the financialization of those is so Web3 that it fucking hurts. Where you're having to pair like Gala tokens with the Gala music NFTs that you've purchased off of their exclusive marketplace, and then as people listen, you get emissions from based on what your size of the pool is, so on and so forth. It's too complicated. You're not going to onboard anyone, and you're also not going to pull an existing fan base. No one's, excuse me, I'm looking at the numbers. More people have done this and contributed to September morning or October morning. I forget which one it is. The one for Emily Lazar.
September
Yeah.
morning.
Okay, I was right the first time. So Emily gets more play on there than the fucking real Web 2 artists that are on there, right? Because the community that exists there within Web 3 more fully supports them because they're the only motherfuckers that understand it. And so I think that music NFTs are not in their prime time yet, but I don't think that that's going to change until some more systems pop up and are created by people who are actually passionate about music, and not only music, but are actually passionate about musicians and how selling and streaming and everything actually affects the musician's life, as opposed to just how it can affect their bottom line as a fucking middleman to do the same shit that labels have been doing for like 100 years, which is attempting to drain talent dry.
Public school alumni, you know, I'm not a big fan of slipping y'all Mickeys. Every now and again, I'll rug you on a giveaway because that is the nature of this program for you to get rugged in this fucking rug. We have a rug wheel, by the way, Flu, where we spin it, and the only people who win are the mods. It's fucking great. Dragonate wins like almost every time. Him or his mom. His mom's here, and him or his mom will win. It's fucking amazing. Can you see now why I wanted to bring these folks to talk to you or talk in front of you? I feel like there's a lot of cohesion between how they are, how we are, and I wanted these two gangs to meet because you know the enemy of my enemy can be my friend when we're aligned and equally yoked. And I think that there's a lot of good yolk. Someone please put some yolk in the chat, especially for Easy. He likes his eggs runny. Yolk in the chat. There's a 10-second delay for Twitter, so if you're on Twitter, get ready to see some fucking yolk. Chat, please don't let me down. Yolk it up. Easy likes his eggs nice and runny. It makes him very happy. So another thing, and I agree with everything that was stated. I had no notes. The one thing I will add, and maybe this is something for you guys to take a look at, crypto music history. I dropped it in the chat. Mighty 33, who is a phenomenal, brilliant man, and a super OG in the space, did the Crypto Music History Museum, built it in CryptoVoxels with the history of crypto music going back to 08 up to 22 is when they stopped them when they did it. Really important. I think that there's a conversation to be had, one, about what you guys are doing, because I think that what you're doing, while right now you're in the middle of doing it and no one likes their current behavior to be called history, but I think that what you're doing qualifies as historical. I don't think anyone's done what you're doing before. And I don't think anyone's kept the promises you've already kept and are on pace to keep thus far. So another reason I put that in there, because I think that'd be a great conversation and I'd love to facilitate that. On top of that, the platforms that you were mentioning, some of them did exist. Like Gala, I'm not a big fan because I'm not a fan of anything with a fucky fuck token. Whenever there's a fucky fuck token, I always kind of, I like shit to be super clean and easy. The artist keeps their money. If the platform takes a cut, I want to know what that cut is up front, and I don't want any ebbs and flows of a fucky fuck token to get in the way of that. Emanate, rest in peace to Emanate, I think was a great platform. I think Emanate was wonderful. They paid artists, they paid in the fucky fuck token, which again, not a fan, but they paid for streams, which no one seems eager to do that, and they were doing it. They paid for streams. They had a ubiquitous way for us all to communicate there. Fucking, what's the other ones? I just did the thing with them on Tezos. Fucking DNS. DNS had they grabbed from everywhere. Every music NFT on ETH and Tez, and they were looking to expand. They had a thing with everything up with playlists. They did a relaunch. I don't know what happened with that. I thought that was a big missed opportunity. There hasn't been a consistent contestant besides the platforms that we know. And I'm not a big fan of Sound. For people who want to do stuff there, go ahead. I don't want to fight. It's 24. Go do your thing. I know why I don't like the platform's personality. I'll say it that way, because it encourages artists to do this low cost, high edition. It's back to selling dirt, and I don't want to sell dirt. I want to sell fine art. I want to sell a higher end product. For musicians, the ability to sell a higher end product has never really been explored until this before. You guys are spearheading it on the side you're on. Have you ever thought about? Because I mean, it seems, maybe I'm putting too much on your shoulders, but it seems from where I'm sitting like a natural lateral move to have a music player, to have something where everyone can put their music. Is that something you guys have considered?
So we are going to be doing that with selected partners, not like selected partners like it's that fucking hard to get on the list like it is with Gala. No comments. But like selected partners, people who are here, but that's the thing. We're gonna focus on people who are here during the building phase. We're gonna focus on people like Abel Okugawa, like Felons, like Emily Lazar, like you. And we're going to make sure that those musicians have the chance to drop tracks in the app that are tied to those custom traits, like what I spoke about earlier. And those custom traits, what I spoke about earlier, also have an added advantage of you get to define the supply of them, you get to define the mint price of them, and you get 75% of the mint price. And the artist, not me, not my co-founder, not any of the business team, nothing. The artist that does the illustration for that gets the other 25%.
How are you guys able to operate with this level of magnanimous charity?
It's not charity, it's building a brand that is ethical and will actually last. We all work for equity. We have got at least 20 people that actually own equity in the corporation, and it's not charity. I've never gotten paid. I do not consider it to be charity. I consider it to be an investment within myself, just like musicians do not consider making music to be charity.
As far as the answer you just gave, as in my chest, felt great. For the space, for me at my house, your answer has no need for any extra explanation. I'm gonna ask. Feel free to not answer. Um, because we have lost, and I'll speak for the Mitches of the world. The Mitches of the world are the people that we always have to speak for because people forget that there's a Mitch who goes, "Oh geez, I wanted to use that. Oh geez, I had plans for that. But wait, I was gonna do something." They're gone, and they lose these wonderfully beneficial platforms, programs, protocols. The best shit in the world disappears for them. Is there any level of reassurance you can give the Mitches of the world that you guys will be around for the long haul? Not because you're doing anything unethical, not because there's anything like that, but sometimes money dries up.
Um, the bulk of the team, as far as like the executive team, this is not our first rodeo, and this is not the first time that we have been successful within business. Not necessarily always crypto, but business. We have the co-founder of Beats by Dre. He's obviously he can do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
You know, we have a man with his own collectibles line, like statues and figurines, and he's done a statue for the Chicago Bulls. And I have a lending platform on 10 chains. I'm a very active Web3 consultant. Devin was one of the founding team members for Wise Token, which was the largest LP ever, still is, on Uniswap V2, right? And so, and Willionaire, his name is Willionaire because his name is William, and he's a millionaire because he sold a health company, a health insurance company, for $500 million. Now, he did not get all of that. He got several millions of it, though. You know what I mean? And so, with that, with our revenue that we've already made, because we already have had, we've already had, I think 700 and something $1,000 in like pure revenue, just direct in, and then trading revenue on the NFTs still provides us with some change from time to time. Soulbind still provide us with change from time to time, and we just build off of those things. We have taken investment from no one, no VC, no one, only private parties, and those private parties mostly consist of Devin's mother. And so we will continue to act as we should to be able to sell parts of our business that we don't necessarily want to run forever to companies that could manage that sort of thing, and we will maintain the Web3 side of it forever. We're soul bound to these tokens just like anyone else is. That is how we have paid ourselves. And so I consider that to be the best form of alignment of incentives that exists currently within Web3. Because if my customers soul bound their tokens to their wallets and they're looking at this as a long term investment, then I see no reason why the bulk of my payment should not have also been in soul binding tokens to my wallets in order to make sure that that I'm looking at incentives the same way that my investors are.
I have never been happier that I asked the question in my life. Uh, fucking, that's hopefully reassure Mitch. I'm talking directly to you, buddy. I hope that's reassuring because I think that the questions that we don't ask these days are the ones that are the most important. You know, the wag me, uh, everything's us rubbing, pouring pancake syrup in each other's mouth, rubbing dickheads together. That energy is nice, but unfortunately, it leaves a lot of shit unanswered, a lot of bugs unfixed, and a lot of problems that are still looming on the railroad tracks that derail trains, even good ones. So I like what you guys are doing. Um, I like the energy, and I don't, and I'm not a shaman. I don't do Reiki, so I don't really use words like that. But I like when I go into the rooms, even ever so brief. I love the feeling. It's always something good going on, something good happening, and you guys are very passionate about it. As far as the the actual business of selling NFTs, it's
We
been a
don't
interesting market. How have you guys been dealing with that?
Okay, so we don't, and here's the thing that I've always had exception with is that I feel like a lot of companies that are considered blue chip assets within the space, they consider their business to be selling NFTs. I do not consider my business to be selling NFTs. My business is selling headphones, and these are something that I can hear and feel and touch, and I am selling a fucking product. And I'm not selling a speculative asset. I've never sold a speculative asset, well, at this company. But I have never sold a speculative asset here. I am selling a fucking product, and I can sell that product within Web3. Or, can y'all do me a favor and turn off the Twitter version of this stream?
I have no clue how to do that. Are you about to go to the bathroom?
No. Well, yes,
Is it,
but
is,
no.
is it about to be sexy time? I don't know what's about to happen.
Is about to be it, you know? We will sell